No, I wanted to, I was just trying to set the stage. Are there any more people? Okay, Nick, how long
sir, let
have
me
you
go
been
through.
meditating?
Sir, please repeat your question. I couldn't
No, I was
listen it
asking
properly.
Nick, how long has he been meditating? Could be a day, could be more than a day, that doesn't matter. I'm not trying to sift him from the group. I'm trying to find out so that when I start getting into the subject, I tune it so that he also finds it equally useful. So Nick, how long have you been into meditation now?
I've just done one session.
Oh, okay.
And
Very good.
I've been trying to do a lot. Sometimes I get very late from work.
No, I
I'm still
understand.
on the way to reach home, but I thought let me start something at least.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
better doing something rather than just waiting for,
Okay. When you say one session,
Yeah.
is it one sitting or a cycle of 40 days?
Yes, one a 40-minute session, yes.
No,
Sir,
40
sorry
days.
to interrupt. It is one day, one
One
session he
day.
has attended
Okay.
in physical
Okay.
gathering. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Right?
Yeah.
So shall we start or give it another 1 more minute?
Sir, 1 more minute, please. I believe like the Kalpana will join us soon. I'm just checking with her.
Kalpana has joined. Kalpana has joined.
Oh, sorry. My eyes are looking for Kalpana and unable to see her. Sorry.
No, she has refused to show herself, so, and we are not able to give her the same footage as that of Buddha. So,
no, sir. Light is off. Yeah, I will switch on camera. So
no, not
No,
that.
that's okay.
The only reason was we were searching for Kalpana because, like others, there is the name visible. In your case, Buddha is visible. We are not able to identify you with Buddha.
okay.
Yeah. So let me ask this question. Today's session is going to be more of interaction to see that it will be acting as, because there's been a long gap, it will be like a refresher for most of us who have attended earlier. And for those who are new, this will be probably helping them get interested in reading to this, reading the initial chapters of Thinking and Destiny. One thing you will find is from chapter 5 onwards, the pace at which we will be able to progress is phenomenal. But till the 5th chapter, it is basic concepts. So, like any science, this one will be a little bit dry, a little bit understanding required, etc. So, having said that, your 1 minute is over, ma'am. May I start? Are you expecting any more to join? No, I cannot hear you when you are muted.
So today looks like I'm not aware. I'm not in the.
No, you are not
moment,
mindful.
actually.
You are not mindful.
Actually, working with 2 devices, sir. Actually, like I'm trying to log in from the laptop. So I was looking at that side and immediately started talking. Yes, sir, please, we go ahead with the session.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me ask,
sir.
right? Why is spirituality important for life? Let's start with that question. Why do we really need to read spiritual books?
I would say, sir, to discover something beyond our mind or body. Not it's beyond our human level. Yeah. No.
Okay. You can probably use the word beyond the physical.
Yeah, physical plane. Yeah, or physical dimension. Yeah.
Right. So Now, but it is to discover, okay, fine. But how is it going to help you in your life? Think, I want everyone to answer.
Maybe for better understanding of the of the things that are happening.
Okay. 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 Better understanding. Good. But how will better understanding really help us?
Maybe we'll think if go ahead, Kalpana.
Oh, no. Yeah, to achieve the purpose of life, sir, basically. I mean, to not
while I
deviate.
agree,
Yeah.
while I agree that that is the correct answer, but what do we understand from purpose of life? Okay, probably the simplest answer to that would be, yeah, I'm born,
Yeah.
I have a job, I have lived,
Yeah.
I die. When I look back from the perspective of a soul, not who is having an issue with the audio. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Right. So now,
I think repeat the question for them, sir. So
I will repeat the question. Only thing is, I'm trying to. I seem to have lost track. What was the question I had asked? So you have to repeat the question even for me now.
So what do we understand from purpose of
Ah,
life?
no.
That's
Why this purpose
why
of?
we need
Okay,
spirituality?
you are born, right? But now this brings us to the fundamental question: who am I, or who are you? And when we try to go into the depth of it, we start realizing that we are not this physical body. We keep wondering. For example, a 3-year-old getting up and playing music as though he has been playing music all his life, and he is not 3 years, but he is much more. Right? This brings us to probably thinking that there is more to life than just this life. So that is where the spiritual content of life, what is life, what is the evolution, and so on, that we are awestruck or we are confused about, etc. So there is, if we go into the evolution as per thinking and destiny, what Percival saw was that there was a time when everything was in perfect balance. And people in that universe were considered to be triune selves and perfect mind. They were having three entities, just like we say Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar. The God is nothing but generator, operator, destroyer, correct? So, if we try to understand, there is the generator, which is the knower, because if he has to be creative, he needs to know. so he is the knower. Then, for administrative purposes, he should be able to think, so he is the thinker. And for destroying or recreating, for regenerating, destroying, regenerating, etc., you need to be the doer, the executioner. And these three, if we consider from whatever we have learned in thinking and destiny, right? The knower has got an active component and he has got a passive component. Likewise, the thinker has got an active component and a passive component, and doer has got an active component and a passive component, and they are enclosed in a perfect immortal physical body, occupying or living in what we are given to understand is the realm of permanence. If they are in the realm of permanence, right, their job is to administer the different galaxies and universes that exist. One such entity is the physical earth. Okay, I'm not talking geography, I am talking the way thinking and destiny and how the spiritual side of things we can imagine and help ourselves understand. These guys are in perfect balance. Now, let's come to the active and passive components of these three entities. For knower, it is identity and knowledge, which in other words, we are calling selfness and I-ness. Identity and knowledge. Then, if he is the knower, the thinker. Who is the thinker? The thinker is, for you to think, what do you require? You need to understand what is right, what is wrong. Correct? That establishes the path of thinking. So, one is rightness, and the other one is reason, the active and passive components. Okay. Now, the executioner, the doer, and always remember in thinking and destiny, the assumption is that the knower and thinker are always balanced. You cannot imbalance them. Okay. The custodian of balancing the triune self, which means all the elements in that are neither active nor passive. They are completely balanced, which means there is no domination, there is no duality. You can call it by different words. The doer is the custodian by who is charged with the responsibility of maintaining the balance in the body. Okay. So far, you are with me. Now, the active and passive component for the doer is thinking, feeling and desire. And when that balance in the triune self is disturbed, right, they have to come to the sphere of earth to purify and rejoin. Okay. Now, what do we mean by purify? You take an element. The 5 elements of nature, what are they?
Air, space, water, fire,
Hmm.
and earth. Yep.
Okay. Space, we will replace it with energy, information, etc. We will use that word. And each of these elements, right, have to pass through what you call the spheres. Spheres extended is the atmospheres where all these things coexist. So there are 4 spheres, 4 worlds, 1 world for each of them, 4 states, 1 state for each of them, and 4 substates. The physical state, the state of fire, which is the radiant, and so on, all these, when it comes to earth, you have the 4th state, which we are calling, which are can be further broken down into 4 substates. The earth pertaining to or exposed or filled with radiance, which is the fire. Then you got the fluid, solid, the airy solid, and solid solid. Okay. Our physical earth is that solid solid. And the basis of these 4 in various permutation combinations is the exteriorization that we experience when we try to look at anything from the physical earth perspective. Okay. All these go through the full cycle of the universe has got 2 fundamental sides. One where all these elements exist and they have to go through the refinement, and with charged with some information, they become the intelligent components. What is the difference between nature side and the intelligent side?
Consciousness.
Consciousness. Does it mean that those in the nature side are not conscious at all?
So they are conscious, but not conscious about the consciousness.
So they are conscious to the extent of the function that they have to perform. Like fire has to burn. It doesn't know anything else. Right? And each of these has got an associated sense organ. We will come to that when we see how the human body gets formed out of this. Okay. So, and the, okay, now the triune self had everything in a perfectly balanced body. Okay. The triune self had a perfectly balanced physical immortal body occupying the realm of Parma. What happens when the doer succumbs to his desire and feeling? He becomes impure. That body is no more fit for the triune self. So that body comes to earth to enable the cleansing process, which the doer, because cleaning as an activity is assigned to doer, correct? Maintaining the balance is assigned to the doer. So that body has to come to the earth and start. When it comes to the earth, it loses the conscious element that it has. And that is light. Availability of light is by is the one that increases the consciousness. And that happens to be the purification. Conscious of consciousness is what intelligent sight gives us. These are all plain simple facts. We cannot research this with our level of exposure. So we will take them as truths. Now, let us try to bring in the concept of spiritual tablets or spirituality for that matter, a spiritual way of life. Okay. Now we are talking about feeling and desire. When feeling and desire are balanced, you progress 1 degree in terms of your consciousness. Right? Because that particular parameter that you wanted to understand, you have understood and you have progressed to the next level. Okay. So nature elements need to progress and balance. Now, when the triune self, right, is subjected to that imbalance, a portion of the doer has to come to the earth. That doer is the soul. Okay. So far, any question? That doer.
We said portion of doer.
Correct. He comes to the earth and he becomes the living soul inside the body.
Sir, one question here, sir.
Yes.
I have read in the book that in one sentence they said a portion of each atmosphere flows as breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each atmosphere they meant from doer, knower, thinker, I guess, or psychic, neotic, mental. Yeah.
Atmospheres are one pertaining to each of these elements, but they are concentric circles and they are in subparticle state. They are in subparticle state. Okay. So suppose you take a circle or a sphere, right, and put small dots. They are bright. That means they have the fire element in them. Okay. Then there is moisture. They have water element in them. Then there is air element in them. Then there is undissolved solid subparticles also in that. Correct?
Yeah.
At the minutest level. All these four together are the atmospheres. Each of them owns one. Okay. That is what is that substate. You got the right. Those subparticles, they slowly start gaining intelligence, and they are going to transition from. So if you take the evolution, there was a time when we were all minerals. But how many of you know that the mineral kingdom is still existing inside us? Can you tell me what it is?
Bones, sir. Bones, calcium.
The skeleton, the skeletal
Skeleton,
structure,
Skeleton.
right? Okay. Now, this is coming from Sufism. Okay. Now, then you have the plant kingdom inside you. What is this plant kingdom?
You said lungs, right, sir? No, lungs are
No, no,
stomach, I
I
think.
never said lungs. I
No,
said
no, no,
the
stomach, I
digestive,
think. I said it's
the
lungs,
digestive system,
digestive system. Yeah.
right?
I remembered that. Okay.
Okay. That way we have seven kingdoms actually. Two of them pertain to the higher realms. And
Can
then,
you please explain, sir, how it is, how the digestive system is planting? Actually, I
no,
forgot.
no, we are coming to that. We are coming.
Okay.
Now, the job of the doer is to increase the consciousness, and every cycle gives him the opportunity to go up by 1 degree. So as fire, he would have gone up to the maximum brilliance, up to the triune, the realm of permanence, and then he moves out to the next degree. Next degree is air or water. Right? That way, the entire cycle, along with the body, keeps on moving till that perfect balance is achieved. Okay. For that entire process to work, there is a need for a physical body. That physical body is coming in, but the entire progression of this universe is governed by just one law. What is that law?
Progression, law of progression.
It starts with T, ends with T. Yeah, Kalpana, you seem to have got it. It is there in Thinking and Destiny. Law of start with T, end with T. If that is not there, there is no destiny.
Sir, is it thought?
Exactly. Right? That's why I said law of thought is the only one that is going to make this progression. Right? That is how the universe achieves its purpose and plan. Okay. For that, right, there is every law that is created is subservient to this law of thought. Okay, let us park that portion of law of thought is the one that frames the destiny, and no occupant of this universe, call him God, call him human being, call him matter, call him whatever you want, is spared from this law. Everybody has to undergo this law. Okay. Now, these three entities, these four entities have got, I said, one sense organ which aid the degree of progression, and the enlightenment is the knowledge that the soul has to achieve. Okay, I may mix a little bit from the purpose of life and then integrate it with the when I say purpose of life, there is a soul plan. I may integrate all those so that the concept is clear. Okay. So the progression, this thought is an energy, and whichever soul or whichever doer or whichever component gives out a thought, it has the responsibility of balancing that thought. Okay. So thought defines the destiny of progression, and thought is the guidelines for anyone to operate. Occupants of the realm of permanence, the triune selves, are the administrators of this law. Which means we from our thoughts are setting the principles of the deliverables, and this we are also defining the law, which becomes the law through which the nature has to pass through with the respective conditions for things to happen, and that is how the progression will happen. There is a law, there is a purpose of the universe, there is a realm of permanence, there are these atmospheres, and there are various systems in place for that progression to happen. Now let us see and evaluate this. Knower and thinker are going to be part of your higher self or your higher soul. There is an element of doer also there. Okay. And they have to come down to earth, but they cannot leave the realm of permanence. So how do they come to the earth will become the next part. Now this doer, right, in interacting with the nature elements at the time of conception, see the nature element, which are those has got the active and passive side of it, right? The doer, when it comes to the earth, has also got the form and breath, right? Form is the collation of all the natural elements which has kept on evolving, passing through the mineral kingdom. Then there is a lot of reaction that is taking place, then it becomes a plant kingdom. then it keeps on interacting and all that bacteria, amoeba, etc., etc., etc. It progresses from plant kingdom to animal kingdom. From animal kingdom, it becomes human kingdom, right? So beyond a particular stage, it starts acquiring a form. The highest level of nature side is the breath and form together, which we are calling the breath form. Somewhere they would have become cells, etc., etc. Somewhere in one of the Sufi book I was reading, I was given to understand that there was a time when the human occupants of the universe used to breathe out oxygen and they used to survive on carbon dioxide. This is very well explained in the book of breath. Okay. Today, the current this one is breath is the life giver, breath is the life sustainer, breath is the what? Life
Destroyer.
giver, sustainer, and the maintainer of the human body. That is why we have energy healing, we have chi energy, we have got, I mean, you give it various names. You have got prana. Now, prana itself when you do pranayama, right? There are 5 types of breath: prana, apana, udana, samana, vyayana, right? There are so many forms of this breath, and each one does a particular activity. But the earth is surrounded by all the 4 atmospheres. It is surrounded by the planes, which are or the worlds, which is the planes and worlds, which is the psychic plane belonging to which world? Not the physical world, right? Psychic plane or the psychic world, then neotic plane, which is the psychic is the physical plane, correct? Then we are talking about the next level, which is the mental plane, right? And then it is talking the light plane, because solid is on this earth, right? The physical plane is the solid right? That becomes the third entity, which is the light. Till everything reaches the light stage, that means it becomes conscious of itself, the progression will keep continuing to happen. Any question? Now, we spoke about the active and passive components. They keep interacting with this form factor. I mean, not form factor, sorry, with the form aspect, co-joined by breath, and they become the human body. So there is a wonderful theory about conception and all. Everything is because of breath. And this breath form is, as it evolves, it has got the active and passive component of the doer, which goes and forms your, it forms the adrenaline. the adrenals and kidneys is your doer. That is where the doer operates from. Likewise, the thinker operates from your heart, but he is not going to come down to this physical sphere at all. So, his capabilities, when the maturity of a person reaches that level, when I say maturity of a person, I am talking about the conscious level. Okay, it reaches the heart, and then the knower is in constant touch with your pineal gland and pituitary gland. Look at the beautiful organization, right? And yeah, this, while it is forming these, where is this coming from? As you see that there is an intelligent side, there is a nature element, correct? These two are like the universe surrounding you, the atmospheres, and this breath form, the doer, right? The breath that is going in is ultimately going to result in 4 systems of the body. Doer has got a body in it also, right? Here, what is happening is there is a constant interaction by virtue of the doer's desire and feeling. There is and breath, the interaction of the with the elements outside the body and inside the body. It forms 4 systems inside the body. What are those 4 systems?
Nervous system, sir.
No,
Digestive.
no.
Digestive system.
Digestive, yes.
Circulatory.
Circulatory, respiratory,
Respiratory.
and regenerative,
Yeah.
right? And the human body is formed by 4 cavities. There is a cavity in the head, the cervical area, then, or cervix as he calls it. Then he has got one in the heart area, the chest area, which he calls the thoracic. Then you have got the abdominal and you have got the pelvic. There are 4 cavities in the body, and these 4 cavities are occupied by these entities. Okay. In these cavities, you have 4 systems. Okay. Now, these systems are in constant interaction with the external world, and they dissipate the matter from inside, and they form what we all understand as the aura. Because these elements are in constant interaction at the kidney level, at each component level, right? And that is what forms the aura around the body. That becomes the physical atmosphere of the human body. Are you with me so far? Okay. Now the challenge is we will introduce what we understand from spiritual tablets here. Maintaining, sustaining, and keeping up this aura, this human body, and its components and its part has got a methodology, right? Now, each of these instruments which are inside us, the kidneys, the heart, the brain, the lungs, the glands, etc., right? They function on the basis of energy, which is going in the form of breath, which is going in and helping them sustain them. Okay. So far clear? Any question? Now, either you are very good teachers, I mean students, or I am very good teacher. And the third possibility is this concept is very easy to understand. If there are no questions, right? If you don't have a question, I have a question. Okay. How does this knowledge that we have taken until now help us keep our body healthy? Think.
By controlling our thoughts, sir.
That is a bookish answer. No, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking from your understanding. Let me give you a small clue. Our atmosphere consists of all the particles, and the breath is the one that is sustaining. What is the form of breath? It is energy. It is energy only, right? This energy in interaction with those particles have formed the organs that we have. Here, I would bring what Joe Dispenza wrote in one of his books when he heals himself. You remember that circular diagram that I keep showing you people, two atoms becoming a molecule, molecules becoming a chemical, chemical becoming a tissue, the chemicals becoming a cell, cell becoming a tissue. Do you people recall the diagram? Did I show it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I will show it once more, right? Because I'm trying to stitch the individual components into the holistic approach we could take. Okay, one second. Okay, you see this diagram, right? You are able to see this diagram, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Atom, transition to molecule, transition to chemical, transition to cell, cell transitioning into a tissue, tissue is becoming a heart, it is becoming a vascular system, and then it is thereby becoming a body. Okay. Now, here comes my question. What are these atoms? Where is this atom? It is a composition of the elements of the earth or the universe, or is it something different?
Yes, sir. Components of atom.
Right? They are the components. they are going inside and they are subjected to the functioning of the kidneys and all those organs that are there, which are again formed from the breath and form. Right? They are going in the raw material shape when we breathe in, and this entire structure of the body is again nothing but a combination of all these elements, which transforms from atoms to molecules to chemicals to cells to tissues. So that becomes the organism that we are, correct? Are you able to link the two here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, each of them, the breath that is required by them has to pass through various pipes which are not physical, and they may be physical in the body and they may be beyond the physical also. Right? Here, the understanding that we need to add to is you have got multiple layered structure in this body. What you are able to see is the physical body. What you are not able to see is the other layers of the body. Correct? Today people have come out with the Kirlian photography, which is able to give a portion of the 2 inches above our body, which is our ethereal body. Are you with me? And the malfunction of these entities in whatever combination is ill health, and again the same systems, the digestive, the respiratory, the circulatory, and the fourth one,
Regenerating.
regenerative, right? A perfect balance of them can only be achieved by the right kind of composition of breath along with the constituents of the form are able to help it restructure itself. Is that a fair conclusion?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I'm just struggling to understand again. Okay, this is the breath, and linking this part to the composition of the body, and now I'm trying to link up with thought and
No,
feeling
I
in
will
the
come
body.
to thought. Don't link
Okay.
thought now. We are not talking thought at this point in
Okay.
time.
Okay.
We know that thought is the one that determines this, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And the body is so designed that you start at your Mooladhara. I had posted one write-up. Was it there in our group or it has not come to our group? Embryogenesis and Chakras. Did I post an article?
No, sir.
No?
I think once you put something.
Yes,
It's
it is a
long back,
research
sir.
paper. Yes, long back. It is a research paper which links the energy centers of the body, which is the chakras, and how the fetus grows in conjunction of that. See, otherwise I will post that again. That's not a big deal. Continue. That's
Sir,
not a
post
big
it again, yeah.
I will post it again. Don't waste time trying to, right? That will talk about how the body is developed inside the mother's womb. But where is it starting? Suppose mother stops breathing. What will happen to the growth of the child? If I don't let the breath through the umbilical cord reach the child?
Yeah, obviously it would stop, sir.
It
The
would
growth
stop,
and
right? Correct. So that breath reaching is very important, along with, right? What is the mother taking in? Mother is taking in these nature elements only. Maybe in the form of vegetables, maybe in the form of something else, maybe in the form of energy. It is just these entities that are going in and it is following the cycle. It is getting converted by breath into the structure of the body. Now the structure is laid as a pattern in the form that is there in the mother. Go back to our notes. I think it is when we were talking about the soul and purpose of the universe. This is there in those notes, right? How that forms, see, baby. This embryogenic, the embryogenesis, that research paper will give you an idea of how the whole thing forms a body. But important, coming from thinking and destiny, it is the four cavities and the interaction and the formation of the thinker, knower and doer, the knower, thinker and doer getting into the human body. And the doer doing the activity of making all this happen. And that is where, at that stage, we can switch over to spiritual tablets and say, we are energy, consciousness, and wisdom units. Okay? Are you able to see the mapping? Ask me a question here because I'm going to stop with this sentence. And then we will continue in the next week. Are you clear on the whole thing now? Because I'm starting it as thinking and destiny, but I'm going to marry the concepts of thinking and destiny into our spiritual tablets. And vice versa, of course. So both are very clear. Any question at this point?
Sir, when we are just interrelating all these things, energy, we are connecting with the breath form.
No, breath is that energy.
Breath is the energy.
Correct.
Consciousness is our progression, basically.
Yes.
And how about, sir, wisdom? Wisdom is about like our awareness or the learning which we will take.
That is the one that is going to empower the consciousness, right? And that is what we are getting from knower and thinker. If knower does not support thinker, just think about this. Knower does not support thinker. Okay? The knower does not support thinker. And both together do not support the doer. Okay? It is like that crocodile and that monkey story. वो ले गया बीच समुंदर में, हाँ? अब क्या करूं मैं? That becomes our story, correct? Right? So there is a methodology, but at the base level, it is basically it has to survive. So breath and form, the moment it starts getting energy, just like the acorn seed, you go and plant the acorn seed. The pattern inside the acorn seed is that of an oak tree. ठीक है? ओक ट्री का सीड फॉर्म इज एकॉन, ठीक है। वो अगर हम प्लांट करेंगे, it will, what will it do? It will start sucking the energy from its surroundings, and its survival is on the energy around it. You corrupt that energy, that fellow will die a natural death. That energy is the breath for it, which will feed it. Then you have got the other atmospheric components which are going to act on it, which will give it the warmth, which will give it the surroundings, so that osmosis takes place, and then it is able to grow. ठीक है ना? तो यहाँ पे और थोड़ा समझने के लिए, let us bring in that embryogenesis also. That article I promised that I'll post it. I'll post it now. It is basically correlating the embryogenesis and the chakras in the body. This goes to, I posted it in our Club Kangaroo group. Okay, you can forward it. Now, it is this breath interacting with the elements which are going in the form, which are resident in the form defining the structure, which is like your DNA, RNA. How are they related to thought will be our next course of discussion. But here, this entire process of them interacting with these four basic systems becomes the result of maintaining this body, sustaining it, all that. ठीक है ना यहाँ तक? We'll stop here because नहीं तो आप लोगों को बहुत लेट हो जाएगा. ठीक है? Any question in what we discussed today? Okay, so we know what is a soul. On one side, soul is nothing but the doer in the body. Soul is also the breath form. The form and breath together. Right? Form is the one in which the consciousness keeps increasing, which means the wisdom goes and sits there. Okay? That is the degree by degree evolving matter in this universe, but in the absence of breath, it cannot. ठीक है ना? So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop the recording.